morning. I'm Dean Heskin, President and CEO of Swiss American Trading, and you are tuned into our podcast, The Secret War on Cash. And today I have Chris Agelastos, my co-host, with me, to discuss some of the going-ons or some of the war that is taking place on our cash. So, Chris, good morning. How are you this fine day?
Doing great, thank you. Enjoying this Arizona winter weather.
We did,
It's been
we had one week
beautiful.
of winter, maybe, and
Yeah, I had to cover the plants one night, I think.
well, we're still in February. We have still only in February, and we're at what topping, I think 83, 84 degrees at this point.
Yeah,
So it will
yeah,
cool down a little bit next week, and so we look forward to that.
yeah.
But anyway, all right, well, let's get right into it here.
hmm
Um, we're gonna talk a little bit about crypto. Bybit suffered the biggest attack in crypto history, suffering $1.4 billion in losses. Now, Bybit's a pretty big deal. It's the second largest exchange.
Yep.
And I see these articles, we've covered a few of them, and it's just every time I do, I'm like, how on earth is it that people are as confident as they are in these cryptos when here's the problem. It's the this being the second largest exchange, the stuff disappears and they have no idea who did it, which
Yeah,
means how in the world are they going to go get it?
right.
Meaning the money back. And so like this is not a unique phenomenon. This is not something that is oh gosh, didn't see that one coming. This happens all the time. And I just don't understand. Like, in fact, it's funny when people liken having crypto, it's the same as owning gold. People have said that where
Yeah.
gold is something physical, something you can touch, something
hmm
that, yes, it does trade on exchanges, but if the exchange goes under, your gold doesn't go away. But
Right.
the platform for trade or exchange with this goes away, and so does all your money that you have there. So
Yep.
I mean, let's just I guess, Chris, I don't this is probably something you don't have an answer to, but I we'll see. Like if this happened to you, what do you do? And is there any hope
Yeah.
in your estimation of getting your money back ever?
Yeah. No, I don't. I really don't think so. I think you have to go into this knowing that if the crypto disappears, you're just out of luck. It's gone. And you can hope that maybe you get some of it back. But odds are, I think that you're not going to. And you're right. What's crazy about this is it happens all the time, but people never really talk about it. And, it'd be like, me banking at Wells Fargo and, Chase customers losing all of their money and me saying, oh, well, I'm with Wells Fargo, so it's not a problem. I mean, we had a couple of relatively smaller banks fail last year, and it caused major freakouts amongst consumers at much bigger, more secure banks, just because these other ones had problems. Yet in the crypto world, it seems like people aren't as concerned about it. And what really caught my attention on this is the biggest single hack that caused a loss, but there was about 3 billion lost in crypto hacks last year. $3 billion that just disappeared. And it's one of the selling points of crypto is that it's virtually untraceable.
Well,
And
yeah.
maybe that's why people compare it to gold, because of the privacy aspect. But at least, your gold is physically there in your hands. It's in your safe. It's in your safe deposit box wherever you're keeping it, even under the bed, is better than having it disappear electronically with no trace. So
Right.
I don't get it. I mean, I have a little bit of crypto, more so as a novelty, and I tell myself every time I look at it, if it goes to zero and disappears, I'm okay with it because it was just a little play thing that I did just to see how it works. But I'm not putting my real savings there, my retirement money there. I mean, there's just no way. It could just disappear. And like you said, what am I going to do? Whose door am I going to knock on?
Well,
How am I going to get anybody to help me out here?
you know, to your point, you know, as you mentioned, you have a little bit of crypto, and I don't know if I don't believe I've shared this on any of our prior podcasts, but several years ago, I myself bought some Bitcoin, some crypto, and I did it through the Coinbase. Okay,
Hmm.
and the reason I did it, incidentally, is running the company. We were looking at it was looking. I can't remember. I want to say it was closer to 15 years ago than not, but it was looking like we might even actually have to start accepting a crypto in terms of payment for people who are wanting to buy and or sell gold. And so I was like, well, I better get a bit more familiar with this if that's what we're going to do. And it really hasn't happened per se in our industry yet. But it's, not to say it won't at some point. Long story short, one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to sell this stuff. Like, I'm sitting on it. I don't need any more. Let me sell it and see how this whole process works. This was just roughly within the last year or two.
Hmm.
And so I was able to get in my account, sell it. I'm like, okay, now where the heck is the money? Next time I went to go get in my account on Coinbase, I couldn't get in. So there's a feature on there, forgot password. So I click on that. They're going to email me, put my email address in. They're going to send me my password. I've done it 10 times. I've not gotten my password from them. There's no customer service to call. I cannot access my account. I don't know
Hmm.
what's in there. I mean, and this is just under a normal circumstance. The exchange is still there, everything is still there. I just have zero access
Yeah.
to my account. And so it's baffling to me, like I could see it, all those stories you hear about somebody who bought it at 1,000 and now it's 100 grand, and
Right.
they've got millions of dollars. Fantastic. Get your original money out, maybe take half of it, if not all of it out, but like to
Yeah.
have people look at it as safe and as stable as having a pile of gold on their table, or even, I mean, we'll throw a bone to the banks. Even the banks, at least you have a statement, and more often than not you have like a
Right.
number you can call, and you have branches all over the place. I mean, you have
Right.
nothing, and
It,
it could be evaporated within an instant. So
yeah.
on the topic of stability and good investments, let's end on a high note here. Something we have from Tyler Durden out of Zero Hedge. Expect gold to shine in 2025. And I agree with Tyler. Gold is going to shine in 2025. And that's not a difficult leap because it's already been shining in
Yeah.
2025. So, what do we have to look forward to in the remainder of this year, Chris, as it relates to gold? And why is gold something that's going to shine?
Yeah. Well, there's a few main variables kind of pushing it along. Central banks accumulating mostly outside of the U.S. and Western Europe. Ever since obviously we applied sanctions towards Russia and other nations. Other countries have realized, maybe we should keep some more reserves outside of the US dollar. And so the best place to do that makes the most sense is physical gold. And so that's where they've been continuing to buy record amounts of metals just to diversify themselves and kind of protect against this newer weaponization of the dollar. Persistent inflation, I know even though the politicians and the central banks like to kind of downplay inflation. No, don't worry, we're on top of it. We're tamping it down. It's going to be okay. We're still seeing large amounts of inflation on almost all goods. I mean, of course, they always point to the few little areas where prices are a little bit better or stable
Oh,
when it's
yeah.
convenient for them. But most of the
Well,
stuff
I
you and I
did,
go to buy every day.
not to interrupt you, Chris, but I did find it interesting in this article how they said
Mhm.
inflation has proven more persistent than central banks are willing to admit. And that's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to me. Like, that's an interesting statement. Like, then they're willing to
Hmm.
admit. Why on earth won't they admit it? I mean, I know
Right.
why, because it doesn't fit a narrative. But
Right.
we look. You know it. I know it. People tuning in know it. Everybody in this country knows it because inflation is here. Things are getting more expensive by the minute, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, one of my pastimes when I'm talking to friends is complaining about how expensive everything is. I've turned into my parents. Oh my goodness. Uh, that's not necessarily a great thing.
Not a bad
Um,
thing.
no, no, not necessarily. But yeah, those, I mean, that's the reality of the situation, right? We're pretty much used to having to pay more for most things, and then also just all the instability. You've got a lot of people really shifting towards physical possession of gold, and that's starting to kind of squeeze the physical market. So you have, supply shortages coming into place all over the world, and most of that is just concerns over the stability of the U.S. dollar and the economy, at least here in our country. But other nations are having those same concerns, and people like the stability of physical gold. So in fact, we just talked about it in the last week or so about the U.S. even having a lot of its gold brought back into the country from London, and the big
Right.
traffic jam that's causing basically in the vaults over there, because when you have a physical item and you got to pack it up and ship it, it's not just pushing a button on a computer and having it electronically show up. So all of these things are putting demand and pressure on the market, and so we continue to see it climb. And most of the analysts are saying, at least through the next year or two, we should see some good steady growth. So it's great for us that have it, and for those of you out there that don't, I would say, get in while you can. Gold's never been a thing that's been bad to buy and hold. No matter when I've bought gold throughout the years, I bought it, continued to hold it, and it's always done well for me.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And all those points or factors that you just pointed out through 2025, I don't see those going away. I think you're going to still see all those motivators, all those incentives in terms of what's moving gold prices continue. So
Yeah,
I think we've got a great year ahead of us. And to your point, though, part of the balance with that gold is diversification. So performance or not, it's good to have that stability of that tangible asset, that universal tangible asset in your portfolio. So
yeah,
thank you for that. For those tuning in, if you'd like more information on gold, you can use it in a qualified IRA account or retirement account of some kind. You can do it independent of that. There are a variety of different ways to buy gold and silver, and reasons to buy gold and silver. And the best thing to do is educate yourself first, which you can do so by calling our offices at 1-800-289-2646, or visit us online at www.swissamerica, that is all one word, SWISS America.com, or you can also text 1-800-289-2646, and you'll have somebody get back with you and get you what you need. So thank you so much, Chris. Thanks for the information. Thanks for tuning in,
yeah,
everyone, and have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you soon.
yep. Bye bye now.